Hey guys, it's Will, Terrible Infant. Solo episode of First Watch here, as I've been going through the Cold War Spy Thrillers box set, which is 6 movies. It's on DVD. It's awesome. It's dirt cheap. All that. There will be a link in the description below to where you can go and buy this or check it out if you're interested. I think it's like $6 or $7 on most places where you would buy a DVD. So it's like $1 a movie basically. And these are all movies from the 60s, 50s, and 60s, Cold War spy movies. And so today I'm talking about A Dandy and Aspic. This is the 4th film in this box set. It was released in 1968. It was sort of directed by Anthony Mann, and it stars, I think, Lawrence Harvey is the name of the lead actor. And so I say sort of directed because Anthony Mann, who is the director, died during the production of this movie. And the lead actor took over finishing the movie as the director, but he also changed, from what I understand about it, having read a little bit online, he changed the script. So there are parts of it that it really does feel like 2 movies were made with the same cast, the same crew, the same characters, and then they were put together and it doesn't quite fit. Like you can tell that there's a lot of tension going on between the different parts of the material that are spliced together. The basic setup of the movie is there is a British intelligence agent who is actually like a Soviet sleeper agent kind of thing, and he is assigned the task of killing himself, essentially. The British government knows that there is an undercover Russian agent working for them. They don't think it's him. They have a picture of the person who's actually his handler from the Soviet Union. And they say, we think this is the guy. They think that he's in Berlin. And so most of the movie takes place in West Berlin, which is really cool. It's like location photography in West Berlin. And Tom Courtenay, Courtney, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name because there's like a weird A in it, like at the end. And he was the lead in Otley, which is another movie on this box set, which I love. This is my favorite movie so far in this box set. And he's very, very funny in that movie. And in this, he plays like this sociopathic, like British agent who doesn't trust anyone and just goes around murdering people. So, like, you have like an ostensibly really interesting premise in that you have this guy who's been assigned the task of killing himself, but no one really knows that he is him. So what's he going to do about it? And it doesn't really maximize the potential of that. Basically, this guy just goes to Berlin. He tries to escape to East Berlin. The Soviets won't let him because they're like, we really need you in British intelligence. We spend a lot of resources getting you in there. You're not useful to us if you come home. And the British start to suspect him more and more. But there's not a lot of suspense or tension. It's more of like this guy kind of wandering around having an existential crisis. But it's not an art film. Right, so when you think about existential crisis movies, you tend to think of like, I don't know, like Fellini and stuff like that, and like delving really into that aesthetic and being like visually imaginative and having these flights of fancy and stuff like that, and like externalizing the internal world. And that doesn't happen here. It really is just this guy kind of wandering from moment to moment in the film. And there are like set pieces in the film. There are action sequences that are pretty interesting. Although the ending doesn't really. And again, this I think is about the tension between the 2 different people directing it. The ending doesn't really make sense relative to what you've just watched. You're kind of like, wait, what just happened? There's also a character in here who's like the proto-manic pixie dream girl, played by Mia Farrow, who's a British photographer who starts having an affair with this guy in England. And then lo and behold, guess what? She shows up in Berlin too because she has an assignment there. And you think that it's going to tie into the plot, and if I remember correctly, it doesn't really. It's just kind of this weird floating thing. And it's almost like, because this movie came out in 1968, and obviously, like, you know, the British invasion and like the Summer of Love had just occurred, and like the swinging 60s and all that, it's like they're trying to shoehorn that in there to like appeal to the younger crowd by having this character, and it's just weird, and it doesn't quite work. So it's not. I don't. This is probably my least favorite movie in this box set so far. I've watched 5 of the 6 movies in here, and this is the 4th one that I'm reviewing. It's probably my least favorite. It's not a terrible movie. Like it's interesting to see the location photography. Like I said, they start in London, they go to Berlin. There's some interesting moments. Tom Courtenay's performance is really interesting, but it's not like a great like A-level spy movie. So the movie is A Dandy and Aspic. Like I said, it came out in 1968, and it is part of this box set. I will be back to give you my thoughts on the final 2 films in this set. My name is Will. This has been a Terrible Infant production, and we will see you next time.